Hello, imaginary friends. Welcome to 2020. Time sure is going by quickly. Today, I want to talk about what's wrong with your New Year's resolutions. There's a reason I'm doing this a couple of days after New Year's. I wanted to give you time to think about them, like simmer on them, perhaps fail on one of them. Before we talked about why your New Year's resolution list wasn't going to work out and how we can fix that. Some questions that we can ask to maybe figure that out. So in front of me, I have a list. This isn't my New Year's resolution list personally. Like some of them, publishing stories, that's mine that I put on here to fill in. But the majority of these I got by going online and Googling what are the most common New Year's resolutions, like quitting smoking, losing weight, eating healthy, learning a new skill, saving money. These are all right off the list. These aren't mine. And I wanted to put them up here since these are the most common ones you're going to have on your list. So we can talk about it, ask some questions, and see if your list is possible, if it's doable, if it's reasonable. So the first thing we need to think about whenever it comes to a New Year's resolution list is if you have a list of, say, 5 items, and one of them is an automatic failure. One of them you're going to fail at no matter what, right off the bat. Even if the other 4 were doable and reasonable, once you failed at one, statistically speaking, you're going to fail at the rest of them. When people have a list, if they fail at any given item, they lose attachment to the other items. So you don't want anything on your list that you're going to fail at, that you already know before you wrote it down that you're going to fail at it. So the first question we need to ask ourselves is, do I really want to do this? Or am I putting this on here because it's something that goes on a New Year's resolution list or somebody else told me to do it? I've circled a couple. Quit smoking. Buy a new car. Lose weight. These are things that lots of people, probably you listening to this, watching this right now, have put on your New Year's resolution list. And these are noble goals. I mean, losing weight or quitting smoking, maybe you want to do that for your health. Probably you don't want to buy a new car for noble reason. Maybe you just want to do that because your friends have a new car. Not sure what's up with that, but that's a pretty common one. But quitting smoking. Okay, your doctor says it's good for your health. Your friends say it. Everybody's saying you gotta quit smoking. If you're not invested in this, and on the 1st of January, you throw away all your cigarettes and you're like, I'm gonna quit smoking, odds are you've already probably failed by now. By day 4 or 5, if your heart wasn't in it, then you've stopped. And now all of the items on your list are probably less important to you because you've already failed. You're feeling really bad about yourself and you're thinking, hey, I'm only a couple days into the new year and I'm already a failure. Golly gosh, I suck. And then you don't feel like you can do any of this. So look at your list. If there's anything on there that you don't actually want to do, take it off your list. Put something else on there that you might actually want to do. Like, maybe you don't want to quit smoking, but maybe it would be good for you to know how much you do smoke. So instead of quit smoking, change it to making a spreadsheet of how much you smoke. Like for the first 6 months of the year, just keep track of how many packs of cigarettes you buy. Just keeping that information could cause you to smoke less, and it could cause you to become invested in the idea of quitting smoking, and then you can do it when you're ready. So if it's not something you want to do, take it off your list. And the second thing we want to think about is this actually a real thing? Or is this me trying to actualize an abstract concept? So I'm going to circle a couple on here. Be happier. Worry less. Those two are good. So be happier, worry less. Those aren't goals. Those are great on a vision board, a dream board. Those are great things to put up on your refrigerator. Those are great things to remind yourself, hey, try to be happy, try not to worry so much. But they're not goals. These are abstract concepts. There's no way for you to know if you're happier this year than you were last year. There's no really good way for you to track that. Like, you can do the mood mandalas and things like that, but still, it's not something you can make a goal of. So if you have anything like this on your list, take it off, because you're not going to know when you've succeeded at that and when you haven't succeeded at that. You're not going to know if you fail. It's not something you can actively work on and know that you've really done a good job with it. The next thing on your list that you could have a problem with is it possible? Is it likely? And then after you've answered that, if you answer yes, ask yourself, are you sure? And really take it apart. I'm going to circle this one as a good example of, is it possible? Cutting toxic people out of your life. That's a great goal. You don't want people in your life who are going to make you feel bad about yourself. You don't want people in your life who are going to hurt you. But can you actually do that? How about your boss? Maybe your boss is a toxic person. Are you going to quit your job? Maybe your family has some toxic people in it. And you don't want to cause trouble with your family. I personally have cut out everybody in my family who I didn't have a satisfying relationship with. That was kind of difficult, but now that I've done it, I'm happy about it. What about your friends groups? I have some friends groups that I love hanging out with, where 9 out of the 10 people are lovely human beings, and then one of them is just a horrible person. Do I stop hanging out with the whole social group? Do I try to have this person ostracized from the rest of the friend group, therefore making myself toxic and manipulative and horrible? Or do I act like a grown-up, deal with this person? I don't get close to them, I don't become great friends with them, but deal with them politely in this social manner so that I can keep my friends group? That's what I'm going to do. Now, if this is a close relationship, like a person who used to be a really close friend or is a close friend, or a roommate, or a romantic relationship that's causing you a lot of problems, what you can do is be specific. Say, cut Frank. I don't actually know a Frank, which is why I'm using this word. I don't want to use like names of any real people I want to cut out of my life. So cut Frank out of my life. So that's something you can do. That's something you can work on. That's something you can take steps towards. So that's kind of a nice thing to do there. Are there any others on this list that aren't possible? Probably, but we'll just keep going through. This process takes a little while when you do it for yourself. Next question. Do any of my goals contradict each other? Seems a little weird, but yeah, probably some of your goals contradict. I'm going to circle these two, for example. Spend more time with friends and family. Make self-care a priority. Both of these are things that you would do in your spare time. For me personally, when I spend time with friends and family, I kind of go all out with it. If there's a family function or a friend's party I'm going to, I make cupcakes, I make cookies, I wear some sort of interesting outfit, I try to help with the planning. I really put myself into trying to engage with whatever the activity is. That eats up my spare time. I don't have unlimited spare time, so the time I'm spending with my friends and family is not time that I'm cleaning my house or taking a bath or exercising or reading a book, doing things that are self-care. So by putting both of these on here, knowing that they're both coming from the same pool of resources, there's a good chance that you're either going to fail on both of them or fail on one of them, even if they were more quantifiable, which they're not, but, it's a work in progress. Same thing with these two. Go to more parties, read more books. That they're both things that you want to do in your spare time, and also quantifiable. I do keep track of which books I read every year, but you might not. Maybe you can. Maybe you can start doing that this year. Maybe you can make a goal of reading 10 books and then try to read 10 books this year. I probably go to too many parties. I could maybe figure out how many parties I went to this year, but I don't really care enough to figure that out. So, make sure that they're not going to get in the way of each other. Make sure they're not taking from the same resource pile, like these are right here. Can you be more specific? And ask yourself when you're asking, can you be more specific? Were you not specific on purpose because you didn't really want to do it? So if you have something on your list like exercise more and eat healthy, because those are not specific, because they're not numbers, because they're not something you can actually prove that you did, they're feelings. You can say, oh yeah, I totally thought I exercised more this year. Or I think I ate healthier this year. Those don't mean anything. So in the case of these, why don't you change it instead of exercise more to exercise 3 times a week? Or some number like that. That's something you can track. Instead of eat healthy, how about eat 3 veggies, 3 servings of veggies a day? That's something that you can keep track of. That's something that you can put in your planner. That's something you can put in a habit tracker. So try to be more specific, because then that way you know if you're succeeding or not. Next really good question is, will completing this task make your life better? And if so, how? So the ones I want to think about for that are, I'm having trouble getting this pen. No, Ninja, they don't want to talk to you. Okay. Learn a new skill. Try to pick a skill that's actually going to be helpful. Like, you can pick skills that are fun. Fun is okay. Fun makes your life better. But don't just pick a random skill that you're not interested in that's not going to do anything for you. If you're going to go to the trouble of learning a new skill, have it be something that's going to bring some sort of joy or profit to your life. Save money is another one of these things. Will saving money make your life better? In this economy, considering the way things are going, like, just squirreling away a lot of money might not be in your best interest financially or emotionally. Saving money is taking away from the fun things you could be doing. It's taking away from house improvements. It's taking away from a vacation that you could go on. So if saving money isn't going to make you happy, then don't do that one. So look at all your list, all your resolutions, and see if it's something that's actually going to make your life better or just something you think you should do. The next question we want to ask ourselves is, does this require another human being's buy-in? I have a couple on here that are really good for that. The ones I have are, have a baby. I have known people personally who have made the decision that they're going to have a baby without checking in with their partner on it. They've started getting their hopes up for this without seeing if the other human involved in this equation is interested. So don't put have a baby on your list, on your goal list, on your resolution list, unless you've cleared that with the person you're intending to have a baby with, or anything of that nature. Same thing with something like this. Make dinner at home more. If you have a partner, a life partner, nesting partner, if you're married, or if you have roommates or kids even, you require their buy-in on this one. Because if you just make this goal, oh, well, we're going to, save money and be healthier by eating dinner at home more, and you just expect that they're going to fall in line on this, there's a good chance you're going to end up doing a lot more work. Because you can't just say to somebody, well, if I do the cooking, you're going to wash the dishes. If this is something they're not interested in, you're going to spend a lot of time chasing after them to do it. You're going to end up doing a lot more work. And you're going to feel like they're taking advantage of the work you're doing, and that's going to breed some resentment. So if you want to make dinner for yourself more, if you live at home, if you live alone, then yeah, go for this. But if you're going to require your roommates or your partner to help you, you got to get their buy-in to make this work. Next thing you want to ask is Is this a goal for the year, or is this a to-do list item? My example of that is get a gym membership. That's not a goal for the year. That takes you an afternoon. That does not need to be on your list. Going to the gym 3 times a week, that can be on your list. Getting a gym membership, that's a to-do item. That's not a goal. Next thing is this in your control? Or is it left up to fate in some ways? Is it left up to chance? Is it left up to other people who might not recognize how good you're doing or something like that? The ones for that are publish 10 stories. What I mean by that is not self-publish, but sell to a publisher and have them publish it. I don't have any control over that. I really don't. I have no control over how many stories I publish this year. I have control over how many stories I write this year. I have control over how many stories I submit this year. So put the thing that you actually have control of. Write 10 stories. Same thing with get a promotion. You can take classes to better yourself at your job, continuing learning. You can try to foster a better relationship with your boss. You can apply for promotions, but you can't get a promotion all on your own volition because that's not something in your control. So here's some questions that I've laid out, some things that you can ask yourself, look at your list, and see what we can do. So tomorrow I'm going to try to come back and talk a little bit more about goals, about reasonable goals and what sort of goals you want to set. I'm also going to do my actual New Year's resolution list with you and show you what kind of things I'm going to be working on so you can get a better idea of what kind of stuff I'm going to have coming up in the next year. So if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in the comments at the bottom, right down there, right there. See, and then you put some comment right there. And I will try to answer them and see if we can figure something out. Go ahead and do your to-do list, not to-do list, your New Year's resolution list, and let me know how that works out for you. I will see you soon to continue this discussion.